Do the Golden Knights have enough strength up the middle to be contenders in the race for the cup? Coming up next on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get $20 off of your first purchase. Chris, Bill James of the Baseball Abstract, just to follow along here, once wrote that strength up the middle was perhaps the first lick of old baseball wisdom that he ever had encountered. In baseball, strength up the middle is catcher, straight up the middle, second base, shortstop, and center field. And that's how you gauged a lot of teams defensively, especially back in the day. And strength up the middle for VGK in hockey now essentially would be the four setters: Jack Eichel, Tomas Hertl, William Karlsson, and Nick Waugh. Does VGK have strength up the middle enough to contend in the Pacific Division this upcoming season? And again, you take a look at the strength up the middle on the VGK structure, and I wondered if they are strong enough. Yes, but also I have a great deal of concern, not much center depth with this team. How will the Golden Knights compensate if one of those four setters goes down?
I think the defensive core of the Golden Knights is the biggest strength. I think their center strength their centers are their second area of strength, and the wingers are the concern right now, as they should be. But like you said, Jack Eichel, who tips the scale as a low end, but true number one level center. Hertl, we don't know exactly what we're going to see in Vegas. Hopefully it's the 63, 64 point version of Hertl, who's going to be a menace on the power play and find chemistry with Mark Stone or some of the younger players. William Karlsson, 30-30 last year. Nicholas Waugh, who is quite possibly the best line four center in the entire National Hockey League. And then you got Brett Howden, who can help out when needed, really in anywhere on the bottom nine. And then that obviously would give the opportunity to Nick Waugh to elevate should there be an injury near the top with Eichel, Hertl, or Karlsson.
So who's behind them? Who's behind those four? They have strength up the middle. Yes, they definitely have.
Five centers. Geez, I don't know. I think Brisson actually could play center if they really got themselves in a spot. Outside of those five, okay, fine. You want to go back down. Ron Beard can play center. I don't know if Fraze is still with the organization. They got to go down and see if Fraze is still around. Morelli can play center. There's, you can only have so much depth. The salary cap only allows for so many things to happen. I don't know many teams that are as strong as the Golden Knights with four quality centers. And then when you add in their complementary pieces like Howden and stuff like that, I don't know if there's a team that's going to be stronger from a totality perspective. Yes, Draisaitl, McDavid, that's a different animal entirely. But most teams don't have that.
Yeah, we're talking center strength, right? And your publication, The Hockey News, asked the question.
I own Hockey News, yes, thank you.
Do you like that? I threw that in there. Nice promo. They asked the question, does your NHL team have a true number one setter for the 24-25 season? Very good timing with this article, Carol Schramm, because this was in the parking lot about...
Good article, actually.
Yeah, terrific article. Strength up the middle. And some 6 years ago, Ryan Kennedy, also of your publication, The Hockey News, he did an exercise using the following criteria to be a top center, to be a number one center. It has to be a leader in ice time, has to win faceoffs, and must put up at least 60 points. It's pretty interesting criteria there. And I think we're going to start to adhere to that to see if these are top players at center, especially number one. But it was 60 points then. Today, things have changed. Center position scoring's gone up rather overall. And today, 63 points would be the benchmark. There are two buckets that he came up with: elite and effective centers, elite 90 or more points. And ironically, Jack Eichel's name is on the list based on where he would be trending if not injured before. The others: Nathan McKinnon, McDavid, Barkov, Sidney Crosby. Braden Point, too. Braden Point was on that list, I believe. And Austin Matthews and JT Miller. No other VGK centers are listed even as effective. So that could be a concern, although now you had Carlson last season with 60 points. He's very close to making that list. It's pretty interesting. As much as VGK, though, values Carlson, he's not elite. He's not an elite center, folks. But Jack Eichel is.
He's a third line center, Tony. Relax.
Overpaid.
So Jack Eichel, the pace is very interesting here. He had a 95-point pace last year. I never even thought of it like that. I mean, it was a 68 and 63 or something like that, but it's pretty awesome when you see that. The Golden Knights have not had that type of output at the center position, for a very, very, very long time, if ever. They haven't forever, I guess it's the best way to say that.
Forever. 7 years. Yeah.
You look at it's been such a long time since they won the cup. So you look at the elite number one centers, as this article states: McKinnon, Stanley Cup winner; McDavid, best player on the universe, at some point hopefully wins a cup; Barkov, Stanley Cup winner; Crosby, Stanley Cup winner; Point, Stanley Cup winner; Austin Matthews, the best scorer on the planet right now; JT Miller, hopefully we'll see. And then obviously you look at Jack Eichel, yes, Stanley Cup winner, and some other accolades hopefully to come. And then you go down to the effective group of number one centers here, the next tier: Sebastian Aho, Hurricanes, no Stanley Cups; Rupe Hintz, Dallas Stars, no Stanley Cups; Dylan Larkin, Bo Horvat; Mark Scheifele, no cups; Rob Thomas, I believe, is the only Stanley Cup winner on that list. And you go even farther for these up and coming number one centers: Elias Lindholm, Dylan Cousins, Nick Suzuki, Jack Hughes, Tim Stützle, Pierre-Luc Dubois. I believe the commonality is no Stanley Cups. So you need that elite center. End of story. You have to have an elite number one center. And this is something McCrimmon needs to get. Like, people forget we actually do praise McCrimmon still on this show. But McCrimmon cracked the code pretty early with the Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, season one was what it was, but that team didn't have a number one center or number one defenseman. What does McCrimmon do? Insert Jack Eichel, insert Alex Pietrangelo. All of a sudden, a couple years later, Golden Knights got a Stanley Cup. So McCrimmon knew this before this article was written. McCrimmon, I think, actually wrote this article.
No. Well, Bill James first wrote the Strength Up the Middle article, and then I like
McCrimmon paid attention. Then I don't know when the article came, but McCrimmon paid attention.
Now, this is 6 years ago that article came out, and then you and I have both projected that Eichel would have that 90-plus point campaign. I think going into last season,
I feel like 85 to 90 was the number we put on him, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, we thought he would be poised to have a big season. And I think that bust out is going to happen. Let's just hope that he's got to stay healthy for them to succeed overall as a team.
Well, we're going to see, wrestling tag team here. Is the tag team of Jack Eichel and Jonathan Marchessault better, or are we talking the Hart Foundation, where Bret Hart and Owen Hart separate off and Bret Hart becomes a champion in his own right and everything? So we'll see exactly. What Demolition, that's like what Smash, I forgot who the other person on that tag team was. When they separated off, they were no good, but definitely our Legion of Doom, same thing. You can't separate the Legion of Doom. So are Jack Eichel and Jonathan Marchessault the Legion of Doom, or Demolition, Smash, whatever those guys are called? Or you follow where I'm going with this. I'm really curious to see. Go ahead.
No, but you were saying I should not be concerned if one of the top four centers goes down.
Listen, you're always which one of the top four centers goes down? I guess that's number one. Can this team function without? Let's just say it's a random, and you got a 25% chance. and one of these centers is going to be down for 12 to 15 games. Can the Golden Knights get through that? Yes, they can. Listen, losing Jack Eichel for 15 games would suck. Losing Hurdle would probably suck. Losing Carlson would suck. And losing Nicholas Waugh, that's probably, and again, not to knock him, but he's the most expendable of that group just because of the responsibility the team places on him. But again, if Hurdle were to go down, you can either move up William Karlsson or Nicholas Waugh, and obviously everyone goes up a little bit, and the team will get by. Listen, if the Oilers lose McDavid, that would suck. If, the Devils lose Jack Hughes, that would suck. And we can keep on going on and on and on. Colorado loses McKinnon. I mean, you see where I'm going with this. The fact that the Golden Knights do have 4 centers who really are at or above where they need to be as far as in a respective lineup, that's good. I mean, Jack Eichel is one of the elite centers in the league, according to this Hockey News article by Carol Schramm. So it's fair. He's a Stanley Cup winner, done a lot of things great since coming to Vegas. You look at the other names on this list. So the Golden Knights were to lose that for a little bit, they'll be okay. Other teams lose that, they won't be okay.
I like when you go, we're going to be okay. You said that you did not sound the alarm this past season, Mr. Golick. You said we're going to be okay. We're just.
I did,
come on,
and I even got praised.
We will be okay.
I even got reached out. Even Golden Knight employees reached out to me for that text, that tweet I put out there. That's back when they
but it also said paid advertisement under that tweet.
It did, and I was wrong. Listen, I mean, there was a 2 or 3 periods last season during the regular season when this team seemed unstoppable. You start with the regular season, and then as the injuries were kind of starting to get better in February and March, like you saw glimpses of it. Before Aiden Hill had his second injury-ish, however you want to look at that, he was trending to be the best goaltender in the National Hockey League as far as his stats and everything was concerned. Obviously, that changed. So yeah, there was a moment when I certainly was a believer and things were going to be really, really good for the Golden Knights in about February. And Cassidy got out coached, and the rest is history.
Coming up next on this WTF Microsoft
They're going to yell at me for that
edition of Lockdown Golden Knights, who will have the most appearances in net this upcoming season. Our opinions matter. Next, right here on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home this winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and to level it up to peak performance, from superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, much, much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride or die every time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices that you want, it is easy to turn your car into the MVP and to bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. I was concerned about the outage today and whether or not that would affect.
Looks like it might be starting to get a tiny bit better, actually. I'm watching this.
Okay, you're watching it closely there, Mr. Golick, keeping track, of a flight. It says that, what does it say? Canceled? Postponed?
Well, if you're flying today, they'll give you a waiver to redo stuff, but they're not saying anything about tomorrow. So
tomorrow's another day. Yeah.
Okay. Could be good.
And of course, don't forget, every Friday like today is WTF, and we do have a massive WTF with Microsoft and the outage today. Saturdays, not tomorrow, but moving forward, Chris and Chris Jr. with the Chris and Chris Show, and that is the YouTube exclusive. And please subscribe there. So, Chris, VGK, you have Hill and Samsonov up there on the board, but they actually have 3 goaltenders heading into the season.
I thought about putting Schmid on the board too. Honestly, don't think the odds are as far off as people think, but go ahead.
No, okay, so we've got the incumbent starter, Aiden Hill, And then you have, you like that? We have Ilya Samsonov,
Perfect timing right now.
who can get a bunch of starts, and Akira Schmid. And so, Hill had a career high 35 starts last season, and he earned the largest salary there for the goaltending. Samsonov had a whopping 40 starts. Get this. Okay, so Samsonov, 40 starts in each of the past 2 seasons. Say what you will about Samsonov, but he has 119 starts over the last 3 seasons with Washington and Toronto. And in those 119 starts, 73 wins. And VGK could definitely lessen his workload, so maybe he's more effective. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he wants to play that many games. If VGK will split the time between the pipes at 72, so 36 apiece for Hill and Samsonov, and then you've got Ilya, and again, give him about 10 starts. To Schmid, rather. You have 10 starts maybe from Schmid. So 36, 36, 10 for Schmid. He had 19 starts last season. And that, I think, could put VGK in a good spot this upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hill is where everything is going to start. Is Hill going to be around for 30 to 35 appearances, or is he going to get closer to that starter's load, which puts you in the 50 appearance ballpark? Remember, this is a tandem league now. There's very few teams with Connor Hellebucks out there who are going to get 60 to 65.
It's like your tag teams. It's like your wrestling.
Exactly. No, this 100% is. We can tag team this entire show, Tony.
Okay.
So, I mean, which goalie is going to get more starts? I mean, I think the chalk has to be Samsonov. I mean, like you said, Tony, 40 appearances last season, 42 the season prior, 44 the season prior to that. So, dude can play as far as at least getting out there. I know he likes his rest to stay healthy. From what I've been hearing, he's been poking around that at City National already, asking about that. But
asking about what?
Just curious about the workload and how the off ice workouts and how often the team practices. That type of thing.
Interesting.
So we'll see exactly how it shakes out. But if we're gonna handicap this thing, I know we got to put a hook in there somehow. Let's pencil Aiden Hill at 32.5 appearances. Let's pencil Samsonov at 44.5 appearances.
No, too many.
Samsonov is getting more appearances than Hill, Tony.
40 is his max.
Okay. It depends on Schmid. So Schmid, there's a couple things with Schmid. Number one, Schmid is the lowest on the pecking order. We'll start by that. He's played 43 times in the National Hockey League.
19 last season, though. That's something that you could live with if he's just a spot starter.
That should have been Yuri Patera's workload last season.
Who's that? The other guy?
Yeah, the other guy. But the other thing with Schmid, the Golden Knights, I was looking back when Cap Friendly Rest in Peace existed.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yes. Sky points. I could be wrong about this, but there's not a lot of time left for Schmid as far as waiver eligibility goes. I feel like it's around 15 games or 15 times going up and down or something like that. So the Golden Knights are going to be as careful as they can with that situation. If they can keep him under 10 appearances, I think that keeps his waiver eligibility rolling in the next year. Again, someone can spot check me on that. If I'm wrong, fine, so be it. But I think that's the name. I feel like 16 NHL starts or NHL appearances was the number for Schmid to lose his waiver eligibility to go up and down between Vegas and Henderson. So now, they're going to try.
How many starts does E-Bug get this season?
E-Bug was close last year. E-Bug, Logan was supposed to come out of that game. I've heard confirmed from many different places that Logan was ready to come out of that game, and E-Bug was going to come in that game against Ottawa. But no, listen, Tony, I'm not betting off the books with anybody, but if I was going to make any financial wagers as far as the Hill and Samsonov situation goes, Samsonov will get more appearances than Aiden Hill. It would be a favorite in the Golic sports book. If I'm booking this, I'm putting Samsonov probably at minus 135 for more appearances between him and Hill. Everyone's going to slam Hill. I'm not going to move the line at all. I'm just going to take all the money and win a ton.
Oh boy, we've
For
seen what
entertainment
they've
purposes
done.
only.
I am so curious about this goalie rotation. Yeah, we have it well in advance.
Well, we haven't even talked about the rotation side of it. We're just talking about the health side.
I know.
Rotation, parking lot, that bad boy, Tony. Parking lot,
for sure.
Goalie
For
rotation,
sure.
new goalie rotation.
Oh my goodness, they'll beat them to death. They will beat them down. Both of those goalies.
Here's the question: will Samsonov get consecutive starts with a healthy Aiden Hill behind him this season?
Oh, absolutely. Come on. If one of they have something, they have a structure of sorts, I guess, on paper, but that always changes anyway.
Well,
and they just go based on who has the hot hand. Always.
No, I don't know. No, that's not necessarily accurate, Tony.
They'll put the goalie most injured in net.
Fair enough. Coach Cassidy, this is a narrative I actually was enjoying talking about with Coach Cassidy last season for about 4 months. And for about 2 months of it, Cassidy was really cool. The third time I asked him about it, he was a little pissed off about it, but whatever. There's a plan for the goalies when they're both healthy. Cassidy schedules 3 to 4. Well, Burke schedules 3 to 4 weeks in advance, and Cassidy goes along.
How was your conversation with Berkey? I don't know. I just made something up. Go ahead, man. That you can't talk to him with Burke. Go ahead.
That was my conversation with Sean Burke. Anyway, so that's the thing. There is a plan for the goalies. Now, listen, I'm sure you mentioned the Mike Tyson quote. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Aiden Hill falters. Obviously, Samsonov is going to get more opportunities. If Samsonov falters, Aiden Hill's going to get more opportunities. But this is Logan and Aiden all over again. I was all over this last year. People dragged me for it. So it's July 19th. It's a good time to start. Samsonov, like Logan Thompson last season, will get more appearances than the $4.9 million starter in Aiden Hill. If you're wrong, just look at the histories of the two players. Just look at the histories of the two players. And if you guys want to argue and fight about that, fine. I'll come to you with facts. You can come to me I'll come to you guys with facts. You come to me with opinions. We'll see who's right.
Samsonov had 11 straight wins in his first NHL season, and I think that they will ride him if he gets into that groove here in Las Vegas. And once again, though, we have a situation, well, apparently brewing, and according to you and your start numbers, where the player that's making less gets more starts.
Remember that bucket we keep referencing, that has stuff in it? That's the type of contract that Aiden Hill has right now for the Golden Knights. He's got one of those types of contracts.
This is his last $5 million. I don't care how well he performs. Maybe if he wins the best.
Listen, if Aiden gets his 50 appearances and does well, he will get massively paid, and deservingly so. And I hope he does for the Golden Knights' sake and for him. Oh gosh, if he gets 50 appearances and puts up a 914, 915 save percentage, he'll definitely get paid. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but he'll definitely get paid, and rightfully, that'd be a great story for Aiden because, again, we have to give it both sides here. I've been all over Aiden with his career starts and appearances and all that. If his body stays together and he gets that bag in Vegas or elsewhere, good for him. Seriously, that would be awesome for him, and I'd be happy for him.
Coming up next, it's that time of the week again. What the Friday, otherwise known as WTF. Back with more right after this on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. You find them all at Gametime. Easy to find and buy MLB tickets, and for every kind of event right here, not only in Las Vegas, but everywhere. And you can get views of all the seats in the venue. Lowest price guarantee. I like the priority seating, the flash deals, the zone deals. You save even more when you choose a section, and Gametime will choose the seat. And the lowest price guarantee on Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. That is if your other price comes in much lower. And they've got the Gametime ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. And furthermore, Chris and I both really like that all-in feature. It tells you how much your ticket will actually cost after the fees are added on. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets today to any event. Download the Gametime app, create an account. Use that promo code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use the redeem code LOCKDOWNNHL, $20 off your first purchase, and terms apply. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Locked On NHL. Record numbers here in the offseason, unbelievable. And we appreciate everyone, especially our everydayers and all of the newbies too. Jump on board. A lot of fun, a lot of new comments coming through. And before we get into WTF, so reading an article a couple of days ago about the old Boston Bruins, and when Bruce Cassidy was the coach there, what do you think he was quoted as saying? Hurts to win. It hurts to win. So that was not a manufactured quote here in Vegas. He stole that from his old organization. WTF. Okay, so we are still tracking the Stanley Cup. Yesterday in St. Louis, Matthew Tkachuk had a Clydesdale horse drinking out of the cup. That is a major ick. That is as Anheuser-Busch as you can possibly get.
What was the horse drinking?
Oh, probably a beer. Why not?
Yes.
Right? His wife, she posted on the Instagram there, LOL. I was following her yesterday, like everyone else, and I should have posted her photos. No, it's pretty funny. I thought it was the best cup visit so far. Tkachuk had a really good stay with the cup. He took it to an elementary school. He woke up with it in bed, kicked the wife out. The Wagyu was gone. She was gone. And then I like that he also had that photo. I don't know if you saw it, where he's got the Stanley Cup and the Heisman Trophy together, which was pretty cool. A lot of hardware there. So, yes, we are still tracking the cup.
Why is there a Heisman Trophy?
I don't know. Don't. Why do you ask? Why do
no,
you
seriously.
ask
I mean, I don't know about Matt Tkachuk, the Heisman winner. Unless I missed something.
Lead a horse to beer. I don't know. No idea. I don't know. But it's far better than the traditional photo on the boat or near water.
WTF. I like the video of him ringing the bell when the Stanley Cup was in the house. I don't know if you caught that in the bar.
I did catch that.
I'm assuming that was downstairs in a den somewhere. But either way, that was pretty cool. Me in the man cave or something like that. Yes. I don't got much. I mean, I don't know. Just looking at some.
Seems like a much better. It seems like a much better guy than we've imagined, though. So
he's the guy that I'll say I've talked about this on the podcast. I grew up a Chicago Bulls fan. I hated every version of Dennis Rodman until he became a Chicago Bull, and then I absolutely adored Dennis Rodman. Matt Tkachuk is that guy, and there's a few other guys in the National Hockey League. Trouba is another one, Tony. There's a few guys in Tom Wilson. There's a lot of guys who people absolutely hate, but I'll never buy a jersey. Even if they come to my team, then they come to your team and you love the guy. And Matt Tkachuk is that guy, not even just for his 100 points, but the dude's a warrior and defends his team come in high water, and it's fun to watch. And I would take Matt Tkachuk in a heartbeat on the Vegas Golden Knights if there was ever a way for that to happen, or his brother Brady Tkachuk. They're both phenomenal talents. I don't know. Just looking at some YouTube comments here, like we didn't really have a negative show yesterday. We did acknowledge issues in the locker room, which are documented from my personal interactions.
One of our most popular shows on the audio side of all time. Definitely top 5.
Yesterday's show?
Yes.
And that's the thing. So, I guess just one thing I want to say is the show's different. We're not employed by the team. We don't have. We have our opinions, but a lot of the opinions that we do have on this show,
and there's no editorial control, we might add.
And
You know,
that's I was trying to
that
walk that
was
line a
a
little
dig.
bit
Yeah,
because
that
we'll
was
see
a
what
dig.
happens in the fall. But fine, that's how it is at this moment, and that's not a
No,
bad
but
thing
no, we
either.
do have editorial control,
No,
folks.
trust me, editorial control is important for the Vegas Golden Knights. I learned all about that
And
apparently.
for Locked On, I was getting it Locked On.
No,
That was
Lockdown's
your dig.
amazing. They haven't slapped our hand once for the stuff that we say. We'll see if that happens. I know people love making comments about it, but
I don't
that's
want
the
to go
point. The
into
show is different.
journalist mode with my eye. You said, kind of, what do I do with my
I don't
eye?
know.
The left eye.
The point is, we do acknowledge both sides. Right now, for the last 19 days since July 1st, it's been a that stuff that goes in a bucket show as far as players leaving the Golden Knights, the Marchessault situation.
Great
Regardless of what
topics.
side you're on right now with Marchessault, it needs to be acknowledged that he is gone and the Golden Knights have lost a lot. So as a result of the offseason, Logan Thompson, new players coming in, old players going out, there's concern right now. So there's been more negativity than positivity. Trevor Connolly, there's a buzzword right there. Critical, another buzzword. It's been a rough 19 days, and we're being fair about it. But we also had shows where we gave a lot of praise this week, and we were very positive earlier in the week.
No,
So
it's been balanced. Come
it
on.
has.
It's
We have.
been so
My
balanced.
point is, if we have a positive show, whatever, fine. We have a negative show, people go ballistic. I think ultimately where I'm going with this right now is
And
everyone
it's not,
is.
let me just add too.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Chris, to
No,
cut
you're
you off.
fine, dude. Go.
It's
I'm
not
coming after you, but go ahead.
No, it's not intentional. We're not doing it intentionally to get
No.
people irate or mad or emotional. Oh my gosh, some people just get so emo around here.
I think these are the topics that people do want to a degree right now. And this is the stuff that you're not going to get somewhere else. But ultimately where I'm going with this nice long WTF ramble is the fact that we are now 2 years removed from a Stanley Cup championship in Vegas. We are now 1 year removed from the best team ever on paper. And everyone thinks this team is just automatically going back to the Stanley Cup on the heels of Pavel Dorofeev and Brendan Brisson and Akira Schmid, Kira, Zach Aston Reese, Victor Olofsson, and Alex Holtz. And listen, all these guys, they could be really good players for the Golden Knights. They could, and the Golden Knights could go back to the Cup. Let's keep that door open. But looking at the totality perspective and acknowledging their reality, this team is far worse than last year's team. We're going to have a show next week coming up about the items that need to go right for the Golden Knights to be competitive for a Cup next year. And that's going to be about a 55-minute show because there's a lot of things that need to go right. So we're acknowledging reality right now. Maybe a big move's coming and we'll have a different perspective next week. But for right now, there's concern. And maybe the shows have been a little more negative. And you know what? That's okay. WTF.
No, we're just trying to balance it out, folks. And it's not just the Homer side of VGK. We're not going to do that.
No.
WTF, those Tahoe Night Monsters, they unveiled their team sweaters yesterday. I posted about it yesterday.
They were nice.
The white one with the lake monster was the best. Didn't like the gold, and the black is just flat out mid.
You didn't like the gold?
No.
I thought that was. See, I enjoy the contrast.
It looks like
I thought the
there's a
jerseys were
sticker
good.
on
I'll
there.
rank them ahead of the HSK jerseys. That's just me.
And that's what a lot of fans did say. The Ghost Pirates unveiling, I thought, was much better, and their merch was
that
ton
video
better.
was 10 times better, and the
Yeah.
video and the jerseys are 10 times better. I will be honest about that.
Yeah, I like them the most. And by the way, the Night Monsters have already sold in excess of 1,000 season tickets
That's
for
great.
this upcoming inaugural campaign.
That's amazing.
WTF.
I've been concerned about the abundance of hockey that's popping up and the fact that they might get an AHL team in the coming years, and if that area can sustain all that professional hockey. But that's awesome. I mean, I don't know what the expected attendance is for the ECHL, but I got to think anything that starts with in the 15 to 1,800 range per game probably isn't bad.
I think that place holds 3,000 capacity, if I'm not wrong.
I'd have to think. I don't know what it looks like in the war room, wherever they're planning right now, and the people that get together and set their expectations and goals. But I got to think that if they get 15 to 1,800 live souls in that building a night, that's great.
A WTF coming in from Hubert Jakar, a long distance dedication. His WTF, Vegas fans from Salt Lake City are giving up on VGK. Now, keep in mind that Salt Lake City, though, was part of the Bill Foley territory, if you will. Yeah. This is part of the turf. So Vegas fans from Salt Lake City giving up on VGK because of the new Utah Hockey Club. Sorry, but VGK fan since day one, VGK fan forever. WTF. I like that take.
Sure, but what's wrong with? I mean, geez, they're getting a team up there. You should support the local team. Support both teams. It's all good.
Of course, our good friend John Price, VGK fan in Toronto. WTF, I believe this version of VGK will be better than most expect. Just like always, nobody expecting VGK to be a playoff team, but we just have to wait and see how things shake. Believe the process. WTF.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I like we said a second ago, there's a lot of things that could and need to go right next season for the Golden Knights to have that type of season. And it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited for camp. This is, in my opinion, the most exciting camp outside of season one, getting to know the players.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging season. Very, very.
Let's see how Cassidy handles it. I really want to see how Cassidy handles it. This is really where we're going to see what Cassidy's made of, and it's going to be. There's so many questions. There was no questions last year coming into camp. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing besides me saying Logan's going to get more starts than Aiden Hill. There were no questions. This is going to be a fun camp.
WTF Golic. Don't worry, fans. It'll be all right.
Relax. Oh yeah, no, I'll take that punch. I'll take that punch all day.
You're going to have how many times? What's the over under on a napkin for the amount of times you tuck people off the ledge next season? Don't worry, we'll be fine. Don't worry, it's going to be okay.
I think instead of talking people off the ledge, it's going to be, hey, this is what we expected.
Thanks so much for tuning in, especially our everydayers tuning in from around the globe. We appreciate all of you. Don't forget that coming up here as the season gets started, Chris and Chris Jr., that show will be picking up once again, the YouTube exclusive. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. From a man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cordasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again next time right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.
Now, please take care. Just take care. Okay, sorry.